Hello friends and neighbors, and welcome to my channel, Squarewave 2. On the bench behind me I have two shortwave receivers which look like they could be related, but nothing could be further from the truth. One is American and the other is Japanese. The one on top is the Helicrafters S38, made in 1946, selling for $47.50. The one on the bottom is the Lafayette Kt 200 from Japan. It was made in 1959 by Trio, which later became Kenwood. It sold for $64.50 in kit form. The same radio came pre-assembled and sold for $79.95. It was called the HE10. These are the only two receivers I know of that have the distinctive half-moon radio dials. Main tuning control, main tuning dial. Band spread dial, band spread control. Main tuning control, main tuning dial. Band spread dial, band spread control. Is this really just a coincidence? The design of the S38 was a product of Raymond Loewy, the famous industrial designer. He was hired just after the war to give Helicrafters a new modern look. 13 years later, Lafayette apparently copied his design. Let's take a look at the Lafayette. Here you see the front panel and the operating controls. This is on-off volume. This is the headphone jack. This is automatic noise limiter on and off. This selector switch has AVC, automatic volume control, MVC, manual volume control, and BFO, beat frequency oscillator, for listening to code. Here we have the band switch selector, bands A through D, band A being the standard broadcast band. Here's a strange feature you don't see very often, an IF gain control, intermediate frequency gain control. Usually shortwave radios have an RF gain control up at the front of the radio. This one is kind of questionable. Here we have a receive standby switch. Up here is the knob for band spread tuning. Over here we have the knob for main tuning. The main tuning dial does show the international broadcast bands, but not the ham bands. Over here we have a very handy S-meter for giving signal strength and aiding in accurate tuning. And very conveniently placed on the front panel is the adjustment for the S-meter. Down here we have the BFO pitch control. The Lafayette had some real advantages over the S38, which made it more than just an entry-level receiver. It was transformer operated, which eliminated the dangerous hot chassis which could give you a fatal shock. It had a stage of RF amplification and 2 stages of IF amplification. It had a handy S-meter to show signal strength and aid in tuning. It had flywheel tuning. Just give the knob a little twist and the pointer glides across the dial. The steel cabinet was especially well made, with vent louvers on the sides and a locking cover on top. The bottom had a hinged cover closed by a single screw. And just like all the best shortwave radios, this one used an external speaker, like the one you see here, the Lafayette HA14. Here you see it out of the cabinet. Power transformer, audio output transformer, 8 miniature tubes, plus 5Y3 rectifier. Here are 3 IF transformers. Over here is the BFO coil. This is a CAN electrolytic capacitor, a combination capacitor. Here are the tuning capacitors. Here's the flywheel for main tuning. And over here is the flywheel for band spread. This radio had an especially good tuning mechanism. The drive wheel, the tuning capacitor, and the dial pointer were all on the same shaft and rotated together. A dial cord connected the tuning knob shaft to the drive wheel. This way, the play usually found in receiver tuning was eliminated. Also, dial cord replacement was simple. You didn't need a restringing diagram. Lafayette's attention to detail is noteworthy. The 8 miniature tubes each had wire hold-downs, and their identifying numbers were stamped into the chassis. Yes, the KT200 was a kit, but not at all like a Heath kit, which gave you illustrated step-by-step instructions. You would check them off in the manual as they were completed. With Lafayette, the builder was guided only by pictorials, no step-by-step instructions. Here's the Heath kit manual for a comparable shortwave receiver, the AR3. 28 pages with large fold-out diagrams. And here's the 10 pages of assembly instructions that came with the KT200. Take a look at the Lafayette pictorial. Here is the pictorial showing you how to wire your receiver. And here's the pictorial showing you where all the capacitors and resistors go. Boy, I sure wouldn't want to rely on pictorials to build a project like this one. Well, this kit was definitely not for beginners. Even I wouldn't want to assemble one using only a drawing as my guide. That's all for today, everyone. Thank you for watching, and for heaven's sake, please stay well.